All right. Welcome, everyone. We're so excited that you have joined us today. We know that some of you may be watching this as a recording, so welcome to you as well. We have a lot to get to today, and one of the unique things about this session is that we've invited all chapter advisors, officers, and members to participate. We really want to emphasize that everyone has a leadership role to play, no matter if you have a formal title or not. So with that in mind, we are going to jump right in. My name is Jennifer Stanford. I'm the Associate Vice President of Program Implementation at Phi Theta Kappa, and I am joined by my distinguished colleagues in our Student Engagement Department. They can wave as I introduce them. Susan Edwards is our Associate VP of Honors Programs and Undergraduate Research. Primarily focused on everything related to Honors in Action, and that's several programs and events related to that. And then we have two of our chapter development and outreach coordinators. We have two because they have split up our divisions between them. We have Patty Van Adder, who handles divisions 1 and 2. So basically, kind of the south and northeast part of the country, and then Ryan Martin, who is our contact person for divisions 3 and 4. So think Midwest, West Coast, and our chapters in Hawaii, Alaska, and abroad. So again, we're so happy that you joined us, and Ryan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Hello, everybody. And we are so thrilled that you are here today. So whether you're a new advisor or you're new to your chapter role, or you've been around for a bit, we have something for everyone today. So the primary focus of today's session is to provide you with skills, knowledge, and resources to better assist you with leading and engaging your chapter in college and honors and action projects, no matter your title. So being a leader, being an advisor, being a member. Every member is a leader in PTK. Our programs empower our members to make change and transform your life, that of your fellow members, and your community, be it local, regional, or the world. So thank you for joining us today. As we progress through the presentation, please use the chat function to post any questions, and we will get to as many as we can. So our chapter session today is taking the lead on college and honors projects. So one of those things is motivating your members. So what we say is don't just show them how to participate, but show them why. So how do we encourage members to be active without overbearing or pushy? Right now, we're all going back in person and you're like, please come to an in-person meeting. And some people are like, we just want to stay virtual. So how do you encourage those to come to meetings, to whether they're in-person, hybrid, or virtual? How do we find members to participate? We're campaigning, we're doing recruitment campaigns, we're out there doing PTK Awareness Week. And everyone is still so busy. I think COVID just added so much more, not just weight, but it added so much more to our plates. How do you pitch engagement to your chapter members? What does engagement look like for your chapter now? So we get questions like these all of the time. And our best advice is don't just show them how to participate, show them the why. And what does that mean? So get what you paid for. Increase your return on the investment in the membership. So network to open more doors of opportunity, whether that's the president of your campus or the president, CEO of a business in your community. Understand leadership roles aren't just for officers. There's so many other opportunities within your chapter that you can be a leader of a committee, a leader of a subcommittee. You can be a leader of whatever within our PTK chapters. Increase critical thinking, communication, and teamwork for now and the future. And then be more competitive for scholarships. So if that's having info sessions on how to start the scholarship application, if that's how to get letters of recommendation when you're working on scholarships, just do it and show that, hey, this person is doing it, you can do it too. Scholarships might be hard to fill out, but it's easy to do when you're all doing it together type thing. Demonstrate grit. Make sure you're in it for the long haul. You're in it to win it. Share some PTK members' success stories from your chapter, region, and across the society. Look at scholarship applications, what they are looking for in an engaged student. Check out the transfer scholarship partners of PTK. What are they offering? And does it depend on more than a high GPA and PTK membership?
So here are some tried and true tips on how to motivate members to come to meetings and engage in some of the projects that you're doing. We hear a lot. One of the answers that sometimes we get, well, I'm too busy. You know, I don't have enough time to do to come to meetings or come to meetings and I'm not sure what we're going to do. So maybe be specific. If you have a specific task that needs to be done within the college or honors in action project, ask someone to do something, just that one small piece in that project, and make sure that it doesn't, take a lot of time for them to do. Meetings. I don't know about you, especially over this last couple of years with COVID and Zoom meetings. I think a lot of folks get meetinged out and they don't want to hang around the college just to go to a meeting or attend another meeting or to sit there. Have some fun with your meetings. Have some meetings that are just, I don't know, they're more of a social get together than anything else. Get to know everybody that's with your chapter and in your chapter. Some of the, get to know each other's majors and what they like to do for fun. Maybe have a meeting off campus, whether it's at a coffee shop or pizza place or something like that. And when it comes to food, I know as a former advisor, as long as I had food at the meetings, everybody would come there, and that's a good thing, right? Consider childcare. If you're able to offer, an activity for members who have children that, if they can't participate because they have children at home, that they can come and maybe there's an activity for them to do so that the member can participate. And also when you have activities that are more fellowship related or related to the projects that you're doing, your college project or the action piece of Honors in Action, have them invite their significant others and their family members to participate. Make it more about just about the student, the member themselves, be inclusive of everybody that's involved in their life as well. And sometimes that makes it a little easier for chapter members to get more involved with it. Have multiple ways and times to get involved, right? Especially with meetings. And I know I just saw a post today on Facebook, one of the chapters from Lamar State, I believe it was Lamar State. They had a virtual and an on-campus meeting at the same time, and they were sharing, doing a presentation on the five PTK edges. And that's the way where we can, when we fuse both hybrid and on campus, it helps everyone, right? We heard a lot of stories where during the pandemic, there were members that were able to get involved because we were doing things online, right? They normally wouldn't be able to be on campus or stay on campus late, so they were able to participate in more activities. So we want to keep that going, right? So if you're having that meeting that's on campus, find a way to also include the online portion of it. Show appreciation. One of the things that I think works really well is when you thank members for coming to a meeting or for doing something, or you give them some sort of recognition on the chapter level, whether it's member of the month or member of the week, or someone that went over and beyond. The more that you show appreciation, the more likely they'll continue to be engaged with the chapter. Let non-officers lead, right? This is really important. Leadership doesn't necessarily have to have a title, right? And we have plenty of active students in Phi Theta Kappa that aren't officers that can offer so much. also let them have the opportunity to lead a certain portion of a project or a certain function of it. So if it's, organizing the communication for a certain project, that's an example of letting a non-officer lead something like that. It helps them, right? And it helps the chapter as well. I can't stress this enough, starting and ending meetings on time. If you're posting a meeting, if you set your meeting schedule for an entire semester, it's supposed to start at 2 o'clock. Be sure it starts at 2 o'clock and make sure it ends within the time frame that you would say it would, whether it's an hour or an hour and a half. It's really important, especially, as officers and as leaders of the chapter, you have things to do. And that's one of those ways where you can manage your own time, right? So if you have a meeting that goes on past what you had thought, then that's eating up on other time where you would have to focus on your studies. So it's very important that you start and end meetings on time. Ask for feedback and listen, right? You want to get feedback from all of the members that are involved in any sort of things that the chapter is doing, right? This is not top-down sort of thing. It's everybody has a part in all of this, and everybody should be able to give their feedback and ideas, and everyone should listen to everyone else with their ideas. And no drama llama, right? Meetings or chapter events or projects, we want to keep the drama llama out of it, right? Because that sometimes there's more to derail what could be a very successful project or successful venture or endeavor that you're doing when we bring the whole, drama llama into it. So those are some tried and true tips that we hope you will use when you're thinking about increasing your engagement and looking to get others to be engaged in your projects on campus this semester. And I thought I would take a minute and ask Jennifer or Susan if they wanted to take on one of the questions that we received from about engagement. And one of them was, how do we rally students? I know we talked a little bit about it now, but how do we rally students, getting them motivated when meetings are still remote, online, or Zoomed?
Susan, do you want to go first or?
Go for it, Jennifer.
Okay. Well, it definitely is, certainly still a challenge. We understand that, people do have a lot of meetings and commitments on their calendar. And so I think, that approach of trying to get them engaged in Phi Theta Kappa at a time and pace that's right for them. For example, with our PTK Edge courses, those are all self-paced. They're all online, and that can really show them what they have in store for them as part of their membership benefits. One of the things that we like to say, and I know Brian was talking about this, is, everyone pays the same international membership fee. And that $60 gives you access to all of the benefits of membership. So that's really helping them understand that this is what they paid for. So they might as well take advantage of it, and, really connecting it to the why as well. Other things, Susan, I'll let you jump in.
Okay. No, I agree with Jennifer. And I also think you just think of ways to make virtual meetings fun. I've seen a lot of them over the course of the past 2 years. And a lot of them will give out door prizes or have some fun trivia contests that all can be done online. And then I was at a regional meeting for the Arizona region, and they all did the Hokey Pokey together.
Oh.
For example, they had a dance party for part of it. And so the really nice thing is that you can do a lot of things like that you might not have people doing the Hokey Pokey at an in-person meeting, but it becomes kind of fun and silly when you're on a virtual meeting and gets people moving around and then coming right back to the meeting. And then I think it's really important what Patty had said, that you have to start the meetings on time and you have to end them on time. And, you can record them. We're recording this and share them with members so that if they can't attend, they can still hear what's going on and feel part of everything.
Right.
And one more thing, sorry, I'll just quickly add one more thing I thought about if you know, sometimes you can do a quick survey of members, even the prospective members, once they're filling out the membership application to find out some of their interest. And if you have a lot of gamers in your group, you could set up a game night. You can do a Netflix watch party. So there are things, I know that was, one of the tips shared about having purely social events as well. And maybe that gets them where they know someone in the chapter, and having that person that they, want to spend more time with is a great way to encourage them to attend future chapter events. So, okay, Patty, going
Okay.
back to you.
No, those are really great ideas, and we'll continue to keep looking for best practices as we see them, and hopefully, we will be able to share with you some more best practices about motivating members. You can find a whole section on motivating members in the activity guide for chapter leaders. We're going to point to that a little later on, where there's different activities that you can try, modify to your situation, the size of your chapter, the size of your college, and that's a good resource for everyone to look at. Let's turn it over and talk about college projects with Ryan.
All right. So now that you've heard some tried and true tips, you got some ideas about motivating your members, and there were some in the chat too. So make sure to write those down. We'll also keep track of that and email them to you also. But now we're going to talk about college project. So building administrative support and make change happen. Becoming your college's best ally. You want your college to be like, let's call on Phi Theta Kappa. They'll get it done. It is designed, the college project, to help your chapter develop and or strengthen a supportive working relations with your college administration. Administrative support is essential for all active PTK chapters regarding funding their travel. Remember, essential for all active PTK chapters. You need that support. Funding your travel. If you want to go to Catalyst, doing your college project is going to get that funding that you need, because your president knows that they can count on you. And this is going to Catalyst is helping you. Granting access to campus resources. They're going to say Phi Theta Kappa can be a part of the groundbreaking ceremony. Phi Theta Kappa can help us with this new project that we want to bring onto campus. And there's resources that not all clubs or organizations get, but Phi Theta Kappa will get those when you become that ally. Instead of asking for the handout, instead of like, please, 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 putting in budget proposals, asking for a whole bunch of, if we do this, can you do that? Can we? This is your opportunity to offer your hand to whatever the college needs to support its mission. This is going to be the key, that it won't look like, oh, we're giving them money again. We are celebrating them with giving them the funding that they need to do whatever it is: travel, community resources, campus beautification. That's what that's going to be. And then your project could be anything that benefits the college and is approved by the college administration, preferably the campus president or CEO. So when you're meeting with the college president or administrator, so whether that's the dean, it can be a director, whoever it may be, college presidents are often looking to partner with student leaders on campus-wide projects. It makes them look good, it makes the college look good, and it makes your chapter look good. As colleges adjust to new realities like virtual engagement and increased online offerings, campus leaders are looking for student perspectives. And who better to ask than Phi Theta Kappa members and chapters? On many campuses, it makes sense for the president to work closely with the college's PTK chapter, but it's up to you to start the conversation. So you put out that ask. making it clear that your work will align closely with the college strategic priorities. But the better you get to know your college president, the easier it will be to demonstrate what a crucial role your chapter plays at the college. So learning your college's strategic priorities and mission and vision is so important. There's so many key words in there that the president, vice president, all the administrators love to hear. And when they're hearing it from a student, they're like, oh, they get it. So when you know it and they know you know it, they light up. And then they want to put you in front of the governing board. They want to put you in front of everything. And then you're just like, but it's great. It's really great. All right. So what is next? So leadership before. So meeting with your administration. So we're going to kind of talk about before, during, and after when you're for your college project. So meeting with administrators. First, you need to schedule an appointment. Setting up a meeting at least 1 week in advance. Check with your chapter advisor to be sure you are following the correct process in scheduling the appointment. There are policies that you have to abide by to make sure that everybody is you just can't email the president without their administrative assistant knowing, without the dean who might be over the chapter. So it's a lot to go through, but just make sure you're following the correct process. And then research and goal setting. So what are the priorities of the college? Is the college operating under a strategic plan? You know, their 3-year, 5-year strategic plan might be up. So you might want to ask, what's going to be new? What are the new priorities if that's happening? This is the foundation of your chapter's college project and from where you will set project goals. So leadership during, be on time. I know there's an old saying, 5 minutes before the time you're supposed to be there is being late. So maybe be there 15 minutes early. Ask members to meet you for a few minutes before it starts so you can walk into the meeting as a group. You don't want to have 4 out of 5 of you walking in and then that last person coming in a little bit late. It kind of messes up the flow of the meeting. If meeting virtually, just be sure everyone joins at an appropriate time and everybody's tech is working. We know how hard it's been virtually with Zoom, with Google Meet, with Teams, whatever, and technology can mess up. We just want to make sure everybody's having the right tech. During the discussion, you may already have projects underway. You may already have ideas, and it's okay to let the president know about these and to ask for support. Express your chapter's desire to serve in whatever capacity is needed, but sharing your ideas of what kind of projects you think are good for the campus is also okay. But you want to get that, the college project is ultimately a joint project and the chapter for the chapter and our college and your college administrator. So college approval is essential. And we're going to talk about leadership after. Communication is key. So not only, so you're going to determine the best method to stay in touch. So not only just with your college administration, but within yourself, in your team. So you want to make sure you follow the president's lead, let them email you back and kind of have an outline of what you all discussed, and then follow up through email or set up another meeting a few weeks down the road. And make sure you're updating the president or the college administrator that's been designated to you on your chapter success and ask for help when needed. Sometimes we forget that it's okay to ask for help. Everybody doesn't know everything. You might not know all the procedures. You might not know what paperwork needs to be done. You might not know how to get this done. Asking for help. That's what your chapter advisor is for, and also the administration. So make sure you're just not doing it yourself, but ask for help. And then remember, the college president is likely to be able to open doors for your academic and professional career. How great is that? Letters of recommendation, introducing you to the right people, you presenting in front of the governing board, you presenting in front of faculty. I know at Paradise Valley Community College, shout out to the Pumas that are on the call right now. There's a learning week for faculty when they have their accountability to come back to classes. That is a great opportunity for you to present your college project or your honors and action project, which we'll talk about later, to a group of faculty. Faculty loves this type of stuff. They'll eat it up. So just remember that the president or your college administrator can open up those kind of doors for you. And then building a good relationship is key for both your future and the chapter standing at the college. So next steps. I know you're all like, so what do we do next? What's going on? What do we do? How do we get started? So determining your project collaborators. Your chapter should be intentional about selecting collaborators who have relevant expertise and will work constructively with you to support your project goals. What does that mean? Finding the right people that are going to help you with your college project. So not only college administrators, but you have a whole resource. If you add up all of the years that the faculty have been teaching, all of the years that the staff have been on that campus, it's thousands of years of knowledge and resource that you have right on the campus. So the key is getting to know them, know everybody from your custodian staff to the cafeteria staff to your campus police, faculties. The faculty administrative staff is the people you need to know to get things done. So make sure you know everyone, because they're gonna find value in your project and they're gonna help you see that project through. So collaborators on campus, like I said, college president, faculty department heads, career services staff, student life, work with student life. And then collaborators in the community can be employers that were invited to participate in a career expo. They can be Chamber of Commerce presidents and CEOs or chairmen. They could be business owners, making sure you collaborate with them. So those are some of the next steps. And then communication. We talked a little bit about that in a couple slides before, but communication is key. So the way that you communicate to your team by sharing info correctly, concisely, and in their preferred method of communication, you're likely going to need several methods of communication. So not just with the collaborators on campus, but the collaborators off campus, and then again, within your team. So trying to figure out what kind of method you're going to use. So that could be Slack, that could be WhatsApp, that could be Discord, that could be Google Drive, that could be Teams. I mean, it's a whole slew of different type of communication tools that you can use that you can keep everything together. With Google Drive and Teams, you all can work in real time on documents together. You can call each other through Teams and Google. Slack is a great communication tool where you can make different channels within it. So if you have those different projects, you can make different channels for each project and select the members that you want in there. And then you can text through Slack, you can call through Slack, you can keep all of your documents and files in Slack also. So those are different ways to help keep everyone on track. And then resources. If you've heard Patty and I talk before, Activity Guide for Chapter Leaders, amazing document. It has everything that you need and it breaks down all the most important activities of an engaged Phi Theta Kappa chapter with easy to follow instructions. There's different samples you can customize to meet your needs. And then there's lots of activities and it just shows you the different levels through the 5-star plan. And it's a way to build your leadership skills. There's different college project ideas. If you don't know what a college project is, or you haven't seen one before, This is a great way to check some out. There's a new journal out called the Change Makers Phi Theta Kappa Journal of Student Leadership, and it features the work of community college students collaborating with their college administrators to implement projects that support the mission of their colleges and generate positive change on their campuses. So your college project can be in the Change Makers next year. How cool is that? It'll be published while you're still in school, which is awesome. And then the last resource that I'm going to talk about is the rubric. Follow the rubric. If we all could say it together, what would we say? Follow the rubric. Because this is going to be a way for you to guide, and for advisors, a way for you to coach your students, your members, for a successful project. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. And then Jennifer and Susan can answer. No, we all can answer. I know that was kind of fast, but I just wanted to make sure to get a lot of it in there for you all. I will turn it over to Patty.
Be nice if I unmuted. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I think this is a great time to maybe pose some questions to Jennifer specifically on college project that we received from from some of you when you registered. And one of the ones I thought that was really interesting, we'll just start with the first one. How do we organize members in the college project and get them on board?
I was muted as well. It's a great question, and it's one that we get frequently. And I think the most important thing to remember is that it only takes 1 or 2 members to get a college project going. Sometimes chapters will think they have to have, a team of 10 or more people to really pull off a college project. But we have found that just 1 or 2 members that get involved usually will then attract other members to a project. And even if you just have those couple of members working on a project, you can still successfully complete one. It's always a good idea, to be candid with the administration about what your resources are at the moment of the meeting. You certainly don't want to bite off more than you can chew, but I think it's a great opportunity to start that conversation. Talk about something that would be possible with just a couple of members. And then when you have a point person working on your college project, again, that's when the recruitment, where you can ask a very specific task of someone, instead of just saying, hey, will you come help us fulfill our college project? They may be like, I don't really know what that involves, but I'm pretty sure I don't have the time for it. But as we said earlier, asking for something very, very specific that is, a one-time thing can actually help get them involved and hopefully lead to another way for them to contribute. So that's how I would answer that.
Yeah, I see a good question in the chat. Does the chapter fund the project or the college?
Okay. Wow, Angela, that's a good question. So because we want this to be a joint project, don't think of it as a service that the chapter is providing, but more about that relationship that you're building or strengthening with the college administration. So at the core of it, the college administration really has the first choice in deciding what the college project is going to focus on. So if they're asking you to do something, then it really would be up to them to provide if there's funding involved, whereas we think of the chapter as providing more of the manpower per se. So that would definitely be, it's going to depend on exactly what the dynamics are at your particular campus. But again, the focus is on a joint project and the Phi Theta Kappa members being volunteers to help get a project started or completed.
Okay, thank you. I'm seeing a lot of questions about, the rubric and all. The rubrics are posted on ptk.org. We will definitely send them to you with the PowerPoint at a later date, but just to let you know, if you ended this, wanted to look at those rubrics in like 15, 20 minutes, they're definitely on ptk.org. So you would just need to access them there. And we'll talk a little bit more about up there. Thanks, Jennifer, under the hallmarks, ptk.org/hallmarks, and you'll find all that information there. Okay, any other questions about College Project? Because we're going to move on to Honors in Action, that other project that everybody, that all of our chapter leaders and advisors are in charge of at their chapters. And it's one of the most dynamic ones, and one of the most, I'm going to start like this. It looks like a big thing, right? That there's just no way, because as a former advisor, I would hear, oh, Patty, we only have 2 people. There's only 2 of us. How are we going to do it? It is doable, right? It is very doable. There's no, a chapter doesn't have to be a certain size. A college doesn't have to be a certain size. And to be honest with you, we just want you to be able to make some real impact in your community, right? Because it starts there. We're not looking for or expecting a Nobel Peace Prize type of project. And I think a lot of times we get hung up on that, right? Like our project has to be so big and has to have this huge impact. We want it to have impact, of course, but we're not looking for something that's like something that's not manageable. And so there's plenty of resources, just like College Project, and definitely I'm not sharing my slide yet, Ryan, so I'm going to do that now. Thanks for the reminder. But one of the things that we found, that I wish I had found this or had this opportunity a year ago, in the activity guide for leaders, there's this whole piece about looking at it and breaking this down, right? And not so much using the guide to break it down, but just thinking of it in a different way, in doable pieces, right? And I know she's not on here, but I'm going to shout out to Lisa, the regional, Lisa Harris, the regional coordinator of the Alabama region and advisor. She shared this in the activity guide, and it blew me away the other day when I saw it, and I went, that's it. This is how chapter leaders can present this to their chapter members so that it doesn't seem like this huge thing. So let me get started before I get ahead of myself and forget what's on my slides. So hold on one second. Okay. So Honors in Action, right? If you've not heard of Honors in Action, you may have heard it as HIA. That's its acronym in Phi Theta Kappa. So you'll hear it either way. And it's about having our members experience, have real world experience and lasting impact. And the difference between an Honors in Action and a College Project is that we begin with research, right? It begins with research. It's about researching a problem or an issue in our local communities. And through that research and transforming it into an action piece, students and members get the experience they need that is lifelong. It's not just for when you're doing this project, it's for a lifetime, right? One of the things that I think that's really fabulous about Honors in Action is that you work on this issue based on the honor study topic, and it can go in any direction that your chapter or your members are really excited to do. And once you get to that part, right, and you connect with your chapter and other students to identify and research that theme related to the honor study topic, you'll turn that research into a plan of action by creating a project or event that meets a specific need in your area. You'll expand your worldview and be able to give back through service. And that, when we talk about service is one of the biggest things in Phi Theta Kappa. Everybody loves service projects and the service hallmark. And we have, lots of projects that, or activities that our colleges want us to do because we are that group on campus. This is a little different. This is addressing something and looking at research and connecting it all. And then to the end, getting to that action or service piece. And so, although it seems like a whole lot, to look at. I love this analogy from Liesl in the Alabama region, and she takes it as, she looks at it, she loves football, and who doesn't in Alabama? Alabama Roll Tide and everybody else. Every Saturday morning, I love looking at my Facebook feed and who's rooting for Arkansas and who's rooting for Alabama, and they're all PTK members, and it's a whole lot of fun. So this to me just fits us. So breaking it down, so as chapter leaders, you know, how do you get everybody to understand the process? And we say, break it down. It's easier to just break it down. So let's pretend we're at the 20-yard line. We're new. And if this is the first time you're hearing about honors in action, I would say this is definitely a method that you can use when you use the word try. We're going to try an honors in action project. And this is how you begin to try. Right? You're at the 20-yard line. We're young, we're inexperienced. Let's just do some basic reps, right? Let's get warmed up. And the way we get warmed up is by downloading and reading the Phi Theta Kappa Honors Program Guide several times. And I encourage you to read it several times, especially the essay, right? In the guide, you will find the setup for it. And let me just, this year, this is the final year for this honor study guide. It's to the 7th generation, inheritance and legacy. There are 7 themes within the guide, and we want you to just like sit back, take a look at it, and just understand what is in it. And I promise you, if you read the essay a couple of times, written by Susan Edwards, which I find excellent writing every year, it helps set up the framework for what you're going to do. So now that you've done that, you move on to the 30-yard line, right? And now that we understand the honor study topic to the 7th generation, you can select a theme on which to focus, right? There are 7 themes. And this year they are the heirs of our ways, natural and constructed environments, trade, craftsmanship and industry, expressions of truth, resistance, reform, rebellion, revolution, perceptions of progress, and life and death. So if I were a student, one of those, if I were to say, what are those 7 themes, just the title alone, what interests me the most? What do I want to learn more about? And for me, being a Jersey girl, we're known to be a little rebellious at times. I would go immediately to resistance, reform, rebellion, and revolution, right? Because I just want to see what that topic is all about. But those are some of the things that you can do as a chapter, right? You know, what theme excites them the most? What vexes them the most? What confuses you the most? Is it life and death? Is it perceptions of progress? If it's a theme that you want to dig into and learn more about, once you select the theme, you're on your way to victory, right? That's those 2 things, understanding the guide and picking a theme that everybody can agree on to start out with, gets you to the 40-yard line. Right? And so here we go, 40-yard line. We're almost halfway there. So now you're beginning to gel. You've selected a theme, and now we need to brainstorm on the direction they take that theme, right? And the way that's done is by choosing something that the chapter feels passionate about, that will most likely lead to an engaged honors in action process or project. And you say, well, how do we brainstorm? There's all sorts of activities in the activity guide for leaders that help you with brainstorming that you can do that. You can look at whether you want something that is doing an honors in action that's based on divergent thinking or convergent thinking. And so there's a little bit more that you can do with that whole brainstorming piece. Once you have all of that, we get to the 50-yard line. So what's really great about a football field, you're going from 10 to 50, then 50 to 10. It's not like it's 100 yards, but you're breaking it down. So it makes it feel better. All right, we're halfway there. It's halftime. And there's still a lot of game before us. And there's still a lot of game before us now in this year that we're in, right? So this may be the crucial step of all. The team should now research the idea they came up with during brainstorming, right? Team members should look at their issue from multiple perspectives, because we want to see all perspectives of an issue, right? It'll be helpful to start with an answerable research question. This question guides you through your research, and also be sure that the team sources are academic in nature. No Wikipedia. There's no research in Wikipedia. As a matter of fact, if you need help with research, we have the perfect tool for you, and that's Research Edge. And I highly encourage, when I was an advisor, I would ask students to read the guide and then go do research ed. And that helps them out tremendously, right? It helps us understand what is really good research, how to find research that's not biased. And it's not just learning how to do research for honors and action, it's lifetime, right? It's skills that you can use for a lifetime. You know, how do you identify scholarly sources? What's outdated? What's how to find those sources that are written for a certain audience and not for what you're looking for, right? The 50-yard line is about getting all of those pieces together as a team to figure out what's going to happen at the, I got to move my, hold on one second, what happens at the 40-yard line. So based on your intentional research and recording what your conclusions are, what did you learn about the topic, right? What other issues emerged? Is there any issue that can address through advocacy or action? And what we say by advocacy, is there something that you can advocate for in the results that you found in your research, or is it some sort of action, you know, boots on the ground, something that you can do that involves your community? Okay, so there we go, 40, 50, 40, 50, 40, and now we're on the 30. So based on your research conclusions, the teams formulate a plan to act on what they learn, right? It's about, because it can go in many directions, and it's about setting those objectives and figuring out what you might want to do. Is it advocate for awareness concerning a cause? Is it educating your community? Is it providing a needed service? Whatever the team decides to act on, be sure the actions upon the team are based upon the research conclusions. It's a very important statement. You know, we want to see that whatever you came up with was based on the conclusions from the research that you selected, right? Find individuals or organizations that share the same passion in collaborating with others. And now here we are. Some chapters in Phi Theta Kappa right now are right around the 20-yard line. It's the fourth quarter. We're tired, but don't give up, right? We're almost there. The HIA action component may be complete, but the work is not quite done. We need to assess on what we did, right? Reflect and assess on what happens. Did we grow as scholars and leaders? What might have we done different? What happened? Who was there? What was said? All of those things. A very important part of the scholarly process of this particular project. And then we're at the 10-yard line. It's first and goal. The final step is to reflect upon the project and to write entries for the Hallmark Awards team. Now that is, we're going to talk briefly about this in a little bit. You know, there is participating and engaging for recognition, and then there's participating and engaging for, we want to bring home the shiny awards from Catalyst. But needless to say, I promise you, although awards are nice, the rewards that you get after doing these projects are much more profound, right? The change that you make, right? The change that you initiate in your community, or the education that you provide. When it comes to the Hallmark rating, that's a whole other thing, and we'll have more sessions on how to do that. But again, in this, just like with College Project, you would follow the rubric, follow the rubric, follow the rubric. And for those chapters that are joining us today, when we ask you to just go ahead and try, we do believe this is doable for every chapter in Phi Theta Kappa, whether there's, you know, 1 member, 2 members, 3 members, or more. We want everyone to try and look at this process to be able to do it. Because in the end, all we really want is touchdown, right? You know, you did it, you've completed it, you know, be proud of the work that you did. It's a new way. It has more benefits than what you can see. You know, you learn more about how to research, what's quantitative data, qualitative data, all of that, how to organize a plan. And one of the greatest things that I like to see when chapter leaders and members participate in Honors in Action and College Project, you know, when they want a letter of recommendation and I can actually say, you know, this student was part of a, you know, effort, a part of an Honors in Action program that brought, you know, the hub to campus, or they were involved in, and you name it. And it's such a great thing to say. And that's something that you can also put on your resume in the future, right? It changes your outlook on what real services and how to get started with Honors in Action. And I wholeheartedly believe, besides all of this, that we are here for you every step of the way, right? We have plenty. Oh, hold on. Let me go the right way. We have plenty of resources, right? The honors program page on ptk.org. There's the guide. There's Honors in Action at Glance that shows you the steps through the process. There's a workbook, which I highly recommend. It's the workbook that is your chapter can just do it, keep one record of it, and you can, answer questions and you can find your way through the whole process. There's a sample HIA project in the guide, and then Research Edge. Please, 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 whether you're going to do an Honors in Action or not, I encourage everybody to definitely take a look at Research Edge. It teaches the principles of conducting scholarly research while introducing you to Honors in Action. And of course, the activity guide for chapter leaders. And one of the really big things about, and I shared it with all of you in the email to you with the link to today, there's Civic Scholar, right? The Journal of Undergraduate Research. That's just awesome, right? It's the first journal of its kind. It highlights all of the work that's done by community college scholars like you. Definitely take a look at it. You can see the processes of how chapters who are very successful in their Honors in Action projects, and then the links to the Honors in Action project rubrics. I highly encourage you to look at all of those resources. We're going to take a break there. Did I miss anything? Susan, Jennifer, anything we need to add?
It was great, Patty. I like you, I love the football analogy too. I think that anytime we can, break down the process into something that's a little more familiar to people, it's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And also as leaders, because we want you to be able to, whether you're an officer or a committee leader, to be able to be confident in your discussions about Honors in Action, and that you can dispel the myth that only 60, 70, 80 member chapters can do that. That is so far from the truth. And I have some really great questions for Susan that will also frame some of the other things I was going to say. So we're just going to go with that. I'm sure she has some of the answers that I think she's going to have. So remember last year, I myself as an advisor thought, oh, you can't do Honors in Action online. It's impossible. Susan, can we do Honors in Action online?
You can. Thanks, Patty. Every single part of the Honors in Action process can be done online. And in fact, I would argue some things like getting members involved, doing research, finding collaborators and communicating with them, even developing your research conclusions and picking an action and doing that. All of it can be done online. And we have 18 examples in the 2021 edition of Civic Scholar, because those chapters really did do the majority of their work, in some cases, all of their work, completely virtually. And they were wonderful projects. So yes, don't let that stop you. It's doable.
Yeah, well, for sure. I like this question too. How big is the scope of the typical action portion of award-winning projects?
Yeah, that's a great question too. And there really isn't a typical Honors in Action project or an Honors in action portion of the project, because so much of it's dependent on the research that is the foundation of Honors in Action, and then what that research suggests to you would be a good action to take to make a difference in your community, however you define that. So you will find actions that run the gamut from a one-day event, maybe something that takes a few hours to do. That doesn't mean the whole Honors in Action project took a few hours. It means that piece of the action did. You'll find some that are very involved and take a long time, maybe a week to conduct. And it just depends on what your research shows you and what you're able to do, and the timeline. If you're starting your Honors in Action project now, you may be looking at something that's a smaller action, that's something you are going to do in a couple of hours on one day. And that's perfectly acceptable. The whole key with Honors in Action is following the process. So it isn't about the biggest and greatest action piece of the project. It's about following that process, looking at your research, doing something that's an action that's fits, is directly related to your research, and then really reflecting on that action. If you look at the Honors in Action rubric, and if you look at the Honors Program Guide, there's a graphic that shows the Honors in Action process. That's what you want to do. Really successful chapters do that. And then I also would argue, look at, again, the 2021 edition of Civic Scholar and the 2020 edition of Civic Scholar. And you're going to see a lot of different types of projects, everything last year from a chapter, forming a chapter of the American Association of University Women on their campus. There was a chapter that dealt with the scholarship fund for a student on campus, a chapter that, the most distinguished chapter that worked with some elementary schools virtually and had a whole curriculum about the local zoo and how that related to inheritance and legacy. So follow the process. The action piece is a piece of the project, but the most important thing is that you've followed and thought about the project and that it's connected.
Okay, I think we're gonna try one more question, Susan, if you don't mind, because I think it's really important. Someone wanted to know more about the journaling part of on the Honors in Action project. Why is that important, and what it entails?
Yeah, it's a great question. And the Honors Program Council has developed a whole journaling guide that's part of the Honors Program guide, and we have that separately online as well. And the reason we have that is that reflection is a really key part of Honors in Action. If you think of service learning, intentional service, that's what Honors in Action is. And so we really want chapters to think about, well, we're picking our theme and thinking how we're going to study and investigate inheritance and legacy in this case. Well, if they do that in January, but they start writing their Hallmark Award entries in December, you think, well, oh my gosh, what were we thinking? The questions asked, well, how did we pick this theme and why did we pick it? And we don't remember why we did that. So a lot of it is so you can have that collective memory of why things were done. You can help really write pieces of the Honors in Action entry. We see that as a reflection piece. And for us, it's so important for you to submit your Honors in Action entries, whether you are going for being most distinguished chapter at your region or internationally, or you're going for 5-star. It helps us know what you're doing, and we're so proud of your work. So we really encourage that. It's important there. And then for even little things, well, I say the little things, like you're getting 8 sources for your Honors in Action Hallmark Award entry. You might as well take notes and write those APA citations, for example, so that your team's not wasting time running around in December and January trying to figure out, oh my gosh, what was that information and what do those citations look like? You can have it done, just as you go along. And so the journaling is to help you, just remember why you made the choices you made, how you worked through the project, have communications with one another, and you're just ready to do those final pieces of Honors in Action. And, you want to share with administrators what you did and with faculty on campus. So the journals really help you develop the narrative to say, here's what we did and why it was important to us and why, how we were successful. And we'd like to celebrate with all of you. So that's what the journaling's for. It is for you. It is not for you to turn into us, but it's to help you do your Honors in Action Hallmark Award entry that you do turn into us. And then we celebrate with you.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.
We're monitoring, so there aren't any other questions about honor. And if you have questions in the future, you can direct them to us via email. We'll be sure to get to them. We just have a few more things that we want to go through before we depart today. Let me share my screen again. And we're going to talk about getting recognized, right? All of this to say, college project and honors in action. Yes, definitely you can, earn, Hallmark awards for them. But for right this minute, we're going to focus on the 5-star chapter plan, right? Where we want you to get recognized for everything you've done, right? From, your induction ceremonies and uploading, files for membership, connecting with your region, to the college project and honors in action. And what we need you to do, and we're going to talk about it in a second, but being recognized for all that you do is really important to us. And so both with the 5-star plan and the Hallmark Awards deadlines, right? We have them on the screen. The Hallmark Award entries are those things that are very specific. Are you going to submit someone for an individual award, or for college presidents or members, officers, and advisors, and then honors in action and college project are due in January, and alumni awards too. And you're going to hear more about that. And we'll probably do another session. We are going to do a Hallmark session with advisors on October 20th, but you'll be able to get some more information from us as well. One of the things that we really are focused on, Ryan and I are focused on, the entire student engagement team, is getting you to set your goal, right? We have so many chapters, 1,269 to be exact, and we need all 1,269 to set a goal, right? So let's do a goal check. I know some of you think you're going to be a 5-star chapter, or you set a 5-star goal. But I want you to make sure today, pinky promise, I told Jennifer I was going to do this, pinky promise that sometime today or by Friday, everybody on this call, if you're an advisor or an officer that's been reported as an officer for your chapter, that you check out your chapter's 5-star goal, right? You want to do that between now and October 15th. Every chapter in Phi Theta Kappa who has set a goal, whether they set it back in May of this year and up until October 15th, we're going to invite everybody to join us for our 5-star Frenzy Friday on the 15th. It's just fun, fellowship, answering some questions, and we're going to give away some bling. So please, 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 pinky promise with me that you are going to check your 5-star goal sometime this week. It's very simple to do. And then as you progress, there are some things that you will check off that you've completed. And most of it has been very streamlined, that headquarters is checking it off for you. So please take a look at that and see where you stand. It helps your regions too, right? Your regions, regional recognition is based on how many chapters are participating in the 5-star plan. I'm not saying everybody has to set a 5-star. I hope that you do, but we want you to set some sort of a goal by October 15th. And if you have any questions, at all, whether it's honors in action, college project, or 5-star, you can email us at what you see here, or catch us on Facebook. I know a lot of you are, we're friends on Facebook. Catch us there. Anything. Connect with your regional coordinators as well if you are looking for a local answer. I know we have someone, I see Mary Linders with us today. I have to do a shout out. I said I was going to do this, right, Ryan? We have one chapter that registered 13 members for this chapter leadership session. And I'm so super proud of Austin Community College in the Texas region, Alpha Gamma Pi. And Mary Coles is her name, is the advisor. So Mary, just because you had 13 members sign up for this session, we're going to send you a little happy and to say thank you. So congratulations to all them. And I don't know, do you have any more questions or any more follow-up, Jennifer, Susan, Ryan?
Good. I think there was a question we were answering about the Hallmark Awards submissions. Okay. And even though those are submitted for most people because the deadlines are in January, it still counts towards your current 5-star plan year because we go January through December. So just know that we're going to check that off for you in the 5-star plan once you've submitted at least 3 entries. And by submit, we just mean 100% complete on the app site, and that's college project, honors in action, and any one of the individual award categories. That's what it takes to be 5-star.
Absolutely. The other thing I wanted to add too, if you, even though we'll be ending this soon, if you ever want to meet with Ryan or myself, we have virtual office hours, and this is open to advisors and to chapter leaders. Contact us, we'll meet with you. Our emails are in the chat, and we can answer any questions you may have, or if you need some advice or point you to some direction that you're looking. I think we have everything.
I have a quick
Yeah.
question.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Can I ask a quick question? Hi, this is Noelle Roberts. I am at PVCC Paradise Valley in Phoenix, Arizona. Hello, everyone. We're just getting our stuff back on track, as probably many of you are also. And with seeing so many people here today, which actually I was kind of surprised, I didn't realize it was on such a big scale. Is there some sort of general or main directory for us to be able to interact with one another? I mean, versus just an open forum like Facebook or our Facebook page, but or LinkedIn. Do we have our own directory, contact information for you guys, our fellow officers nationwide?
So, Sherry, you're part of the Arizona region, correct?
I
It
think
was Noelle that asked the question,
Oh, it was Noelle. I'm sorry.
and
Noelle.
she is from
Yeah.
PCC.
Yeah, I'm from PVCC. I was just elected president. We just did elections last week, starting a little late this year, obviously. So we're trying to really gear up super fast. So far, so good. But my first meeting. So yes, Sherry, I think is on this call, or was, oh, there she is.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I'm asking the question about a general nationwide directory that we can all interact easily with one another.
There isn't one where you can connect with other chapter officers per se. If we're looking to connect with the Arizona region, we have the Arizona Regional Directory, which is up on the website. That's a way that you can connect with those in the local area. As far as getting in touch with any one of us, I mean, we can definitely provide you our email addresses and get connected that way, right, Jennifer?
Yeah, and Alicia has posted it as well. We do have the chapter directory where you can look up
yes.
any advisors and chapter officers that have been reported to headquarters. Sometimes they're not always listed because they haven't been reported to us, but that way it's linked for their email. And you can email them that way. And, but certainly PTK members Facebook page, that's another great way for chapter leaders to interact. If you're just looking, we have a lot of members or officers that post there, and you can get feedback or just brainstorming if you'd like to do that. And that's the same thing that we do for PTK advisors Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else have a question? I'm going to have to make you all turn your cameras on because I have to take a picture of this monumental first ever chapter leaders session. Thank you. Oh, yay. It's nice to see you. All right. Hi, Sarah. Okay. I'm going to have to take 2 pictures because we have two things. Hold on 1 second. All right. Smile nice. Hang on. One more. Yay. I'm so excited. This is so great. You are a part of official history, our first ever chapter leader session. And we hope to do more of these in the future with all of you, but don't wait till the next one to let us know you need assistance. Ryan, you wanted to say something, I think? No? Okay. Okay. We are, oh yes, we got to do 5 things, 5 numbers. I'm sorry, the bling away. So we're going to pick a number and I'm going to ask Mary Linder, pick a number between 1 and 133.
47.
47. Let's see. It's going to go to Daisha McClellan, Hines Community College at Alpha Zeta Omega. Susan, yay! Susan.
How about 77?
Oh, I like that number. Hold on, let's see. 77 is Jenny Nguyen, Alpha Beta at Santa Ana College. Nevada, California region.
Here.
Yay. Jennifer, you're next.
At number 1.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it pays to be the first one to register, right?
That's right.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Okay.
Let's see. Number 1 is Adrian Barkley Griffin, regional coordinator from John Logan College, Upsilon Pi in Illinois. Yay.
And the coordinator.
Yeah, and the coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many was that? I lost count. 3.
3.
3.
Ryan, give me a number.
88.
88. I like that number too. Hold on 1 second. I have too many buttons open on my sheet. It's terrible. 88. Courtney Langfuls, Omicron Psi from Grayson College in Texas. Yay. And you know what? I don't know. Let me see. Brandy Lewis, give me a number. 1. Yay.
103.
103. Okay. 103 is Rayan Ashraf, a member from Alpha Gamma Pi, Austin Community College. Yay, in Texas.
I promise
Awesome.
I didn't cheat, even though that's my college.
No, you did. I'm the only one that can see the numbers, so you're all good. Congratulations. I'm glad you picked somebody from there. So thank you. Thank you. Well, thanks, everybody. We will get the recording out to you as soon within the next 24, 36 hours.
Yes, this has been great. Thank you guys so much for being here, and especially to Patty and Ryan for their great presentations and information sharing. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you need anything. Have a great evening, everyone.